Hey everybody! Well, this week I am working on another project that is a maintenance project. And not all maintenance projects are fixing clogged up drains or light switches that don't work. Sometimes your umbrellas break. We're Douglas and Esperanza, and we decided to leave our lives in the US and move to magical Loreto, Mexico, where we built our boutique resort Pufferfish Villas from the ground up and work running it and saving to expand in the future. Please come with us to follow our journey and live before you die. So this week I am working on fixing umbrellas. Now, about 2 months ago, I had an umbrella that got jammed up. The cord wouldn't go up or down. And so I brought it up here, took a look at it, and it was in this exact same condition. This is a different umbrella where this pulley, the cord has gotten stuck on the side of the pulley. And we're going to find when we get this unstuck, because it's stuck in there, I have to get something to get it unstuck. We're going to find when we get unstuck that this pulley is broken. And this plastic has gotten brittle over time. And so then this jumps the track and it jams this whole thing up. Now, if there's any way to fix something, I'm always going to fix it instead of getting rid of it. These are nice umbrellas still. They're aluminum. This is powder coated aluminum. All the other pieces on it are pretty stable. Now, I have had to repair several of these umbrellas. These umbrellas have a design defect in them, in that there is a metal ring that holds all these top pieces in. That has failed on 3 separate umbrellas, but I was able to take this whole mechanism apart, take out the ring, get it back in there, and actually weld it together, because they just took a ring and pressed it in there and it wasn't held together. So over time it spread out and then it lets it fall apart. But I figured out a way to fix that and keep these umbrellas going. And as long as nothing like the plastic doesn't break and where I can't put it back together, I'm going to keep using them because the rest of the umbrella is still in good shape. So when I saw this had broken, I went online and I was able to find, guess what? The exact part that goes in there. And so I ordered 4 of these, 1 for each umbrella, because I figured only 1 had broke so far, but I figured that more were going to break in the future here. And so now we've got 1 broken, but I have the piece to fix it. It is an exact match. So today I'm going to fix a couple of umbrellas. I'm going to fix this one. I'm going to fix the other one that was broken before. And then we'll have 2 more for the other 2 umbrellas. Whenever they break, I can replace this part. We can keep using these umbrellas. These were actually pretty cheap umbrellas. They were, hold on. Esperanza told me not to use the word cheap anymore. She doesn't like it. I actually grew up in a family that was super cheap. My dad was cheap. He was proud to be cheap. My uncles used to make fun of him because he was cheap. But he always taught us that we should be cheap, and I always consider myself cheap. Some people think that's a bad thing. For me, it's a good thing. I'll say these umbrellas were not very expensive. They were inexpensive. And they are surprisingly good quality for what they cost. I believe these umbrellas were about $80 an umbrella originally. Now, the reason for that is they had a cheap nylon fabric on them. In fact, I still have it in here, I think. Let's look and see. I don't throw anything away. So when the fabric is bad on these umbrellas, I just save it because, oh, there it is right there. There's the fabric on the umbrellas. And I save everything because I might be able to use that fabric for something else. It's discolored, but it's still not torn or anything. So I don't know. I'm a hoarder of parts and stuff like that. Anyways, the fabric did get super discolored. It was nylon. It was dyed nylon. Dyed nylon is not a very color fast fabric. So, and orange and red are horrible colors in the sun. The sun just bleaches orange and red horribly. So we ended up replacing the fabric. The new fabric costs more than the umbrellas altogether. But this is a fabric called Terry Last. And it actually has, it's a Terry Last Midtown. Get it right side up there. This fabric actually has a 10-year warranty, and it actually has a warranty against fading on it also. And it has been out for almost a year, and there is virtually no fading yet for this fabric after being out in the hot sun here for a year. So we'll see once it goes through the whole summer. It hasn't gone through a summer yet. So the problem is our umbrellas are out pretty much 24/7, 365 days a year. I do bring them in if we aren't going to have guests for like a month on end or something like that. But other than that, these are out there all the time, and they get really beat in the sun. We have sun here like 330, 340 days a year. And so we need a good commercial umbrella here to be able to hold up to being out there in the elements all the time. And good commercial umbrellas are expensive. $800 to $1,000 on an umbrella you can pay for umbrellas, for really high-end commercial umbrellas. And even a mid-range umbrella is going to cost you $400 or $500 an umbrella. So getting this with a frame that costs about $80, I think we paid about $120 each for this fabric. So we're into these umbrellas about $200 a piece. But if they can last another several years, it'll definitely be worth it. So I'm going to fix this thing and get it back up and running. All right, this is going to be fun trying to tape this while I'm drilling this out. But I think I can do it here. Let's see if we can get this camera set up so you guys can see. All right, we're going to drill out these rivets so that we can replace them. These are just aluminum, so they'll drill pretty easy. There, that one popped. It's out. Oh, I see I have to replace this screw here. And the next one, we'll drill this out. It is loose, so it's rotating around here. Let's see if we can... There we go, that one's out. Let's get this one the rest of the way. Drill it out of here too. There we go. All right. So pop that out, pop that out. And we can see, yes, it's broken right back there, and it's broken, that's why the cord is caught in there. Let's see if we can get the cord out without wrecking it, because I don't need to replace the cord. Might need to break this. Oh, maybe I can turn this like this and then get the cord out that way. Or I can just break the rest of this pulley out here. Since we're getting rid of it. All right, there we go, it's loose. Now, got a lot of garbage down there. Gonna have to untie this knot here because I gotta thread it through the new pulley anyways. So there, that's out. Unthread this pulley. You can see there, that pulley is not in good shape. And so this is the new pulley, which will go back in there. And this will thread through just like that and come down and hook to that. So now we need the right size rivet for this. So let's see what size this is. This is 1/8. This is too long of a rivet, but I'm just looking for size. That's too small. Next size up is 3/16. There's a 3/16 rivet. And 3/16 is a little too big. So this will work right here. So we need 2 rivets for the new one to put in there. That should work perfect. So we want that one right there. And we're going to need the tool out to get this unhooked. All right. So unloosen this one here. It says 3.2 millimeters, I'm guessing. Since this is a trooper tool and it's all in metric, not in imperial English measurements, or standard, I think you call them. All right, so that's there. That's perfect. Now, then riveting it is pretty easy. Put one in the rivet, like gun like that. Oops. I gotta get that rivet out of there. Okay. One goes in the rivet gun like this. And I'm going to put the other one down here so it's lined up. And then you just... boom, it's already tight. Get the end of that one out. And we'll do this one down here. Come on. All right. There's that. Rivet it back in. And get the, there we go, the little rod out. Pieces, all the rest of those small pieces of junk will have to get out of there once we flip it back over. All right. So I have a whole rivet set here for doing riveting. And comes in handy. All right, so then we now want to retie this. All right, there we go. All right, first we'll get the fabric back on here. Okay, that's good. We'll get this last arm on here. There we go. Okay. And we'll push it up a little bit. If you give me some room. make sure the string is still going through the pulley in there and didn't get off. And yep, the string's still on the pulley. So let's see if the cord or the thing now works. So we make it go up and down, and there it goes. Okay. So, one umbrella fixed, new pulley installed, and we will go get the other one and do it for the repair on it also. All right, second umbrella up here, new pulley all in, old pulley. You can see that there's definitely some problems with it. It's got big chunks missing out of the pulley itself. So another maintenance problem solved here at Pufferfish Villas. And now they tell me that the driveway gate battery might be low. So I gotta go down and look at that next. Good morning, everybody. I thought I'd give you an update on the moke and the cable and all that stuff. So I did get my new cable ends from a relative who brought them down, and so this, if you can see the little part going out there, this is a 20 amp, a real 20 amp cable end, and it's here on the cable. And I at the same time got another 20 amp cable end for the other side, the plug side here. And so this is also a 20 amp cable end. So having these 20 amp plug ends on here will make this a more robust cable, because the old cable had 15 amp plug ends on it. So even though it had a 10 gauge cable, which can take up to 30 amps, it only had the 15 amp plug-ins on it. So this has been upgraded to 20 amps. Now, some people did say maybe it was damaged by pulling out from the cord, like I did in the video. And that could be, a case. This is a pretty hefty cable, so I'm not sure, but it's always good to just pull it out by the plug and not pull it out by the cable. So I am now doing that. So thank you for the comment on that. And also, a couple people said, well, maybe the cable's too old and it's just the insulation is broken down. I did look at it very thoroughly. The insulation seems to be in perfect shape. There's no brittleness or cracking on the insulation like when they get really old. Normally you'd only see that even if it was just in the sun. And this cable has never been in the sun. Even here it's not in the sun, because where it's exposed to the sun, it is buried in the gravel. And so even though the core itself is about 25 years old, I don't think that's a problem with it. I didn't look like there was any deterioration on either end of the cable when I put the new plug-ins on. So I'm pretty confident the cable's still in good shape. I mean, honestly, there's no difference between this and the Romex that you put in your house to like hook up your stove, except that this has a little bit more flexible cable. And so as long as it's not in the sun, you wouldn't expect to have to replace all the wiring in your house every 10 years. So you're going to expect that's going to last 100 years, 150 years. So I would expect this cable, if it's kept out of the sun, to last 100 years too. So it's not probably a concern there. One other thing that some people noticed was that I said two different current numbers. When we looked at the gauge, when it was charging, it says 15 amps. And then I said this only pulls 8.75 amps or something from the power supply.
So the difference there is the battery is being charged at 70 volts. So that is 15 amps at 70 volts. And so the battery charger is getting an input of 120 volts. And so it's taking that 120 volts down to 70 volts. When it does that, the current also goes up. So when it's pulling from the receptacle, it's only pulling 8.75 amps at 120 volts. Then it goes through the charger and that gets converted to 15 amps at 70 volts. So that's why there's a difference in the current rating. So you can be charging the battery at 15 amps and still only be pulling 8.75 amps on the power cord. And another update is on the paint. So I did a test run. So I went and got a paint and I just did a test run to put it on here to see how well it matched. And honestly, as long as I break at either the line of the black or if I break at a corner, I don't think you're going to be able to tell that much. This is a break right here between the original color and the new color. And you really, once you break it at either a corner or at a stopping point, it's pretty hard to see the difference. And I was lucky that I went to the store and I found this at O'Reilly's Auto Parts here, and it is actually a paint for an engine paint. And I've actually used this color before. It's a common old school engine paint color. So it's actually a high heat engine paint, but it is the closest match I think I'll ever find for the Moke. Because most car paints are a metallic paint and the Moke is not a metallic paint, it's a solid paint color. So most automotive paints wouldn't be a good match. So this, I don't know if this is the color they actually used on that, or if it just happens to be close, but it's a good match. I had done a test run on a piece of metal and put it up there first, and it looked like it was pretty close, so I decided to paint a little bit. That worked. So then what I'll do next is I'm going to mask it all off, just the areas I want to paint, mask it right at either a bend in the metal, either way, or where the metal ends into the black rubber. And then I will paint all that, and I think it'll be pretty close. You're not going to be able to tell unless you're really looking for it. And it only cost me $8 for one can of paint, and I'll be able to fix the whole thing instead of paying a couple $100 for somebody to try to mix up an automotive paint to match this and paint it that way. So good solution. We'll get that done here coming up, and I'll show you the results after I get it all painted. So everything's back to working normally. This will be good to go for the rest of the life of the Moke. Hopefully no more explosions. We don't need any more excitement here. Well, today is a day that I thought would never come. And the reason is because I'm actually happy to see it raining, and we're excited to see it raining. This is the first real rain, I mean enough to actually wet the ground, that we have seen in almost 2 years, probably over 2 years, somewhere around there. It's been a long time since we've had any measurable rain here in Loretto. So it is kind of exciting to see rain. Now, we came here to get away from the rain. We grew up in Oregon where it rains and it's cold and wet for 9 months out of the year, and we couldn't stand it anymore. We had to get out of there. That's why we came down originally to San Diego, and then it still rained too much and was too cold in San Diego. So we came even farther south to get to Loretto, where it almost never rains and it's not cold. I mean, you can see I'm out here without a shirt on because it's hot. It's like 82 degrees. Even though it's raining, it's still warm, which I don't mind the rain as much in a tropical environment. If it's
82, 85, 90 degrees and it's raining, that's not nearly as bad as cold, wet rain in Oregon. Wow, it's even starting to pick up now a little bit. So, super excited to get the rain. Hopefully we'll get a good amount, maybe a half inch, something like that. Now I've already prepared. We knew this was coming a long time in advance, so we got all the cushions out down at Pufferfish Villas because those are going to get all wet and dirty and disgusting. So those have all been put in, so we won't have to worry about cleaning them. And so we're all set. Now we can just sit and enjoy the rain. I'm under our new cover that I built earlier this spring, and this is pretty cool because this is keeping me dry, and I can get out here, sit. It's nice and warm, enjoy the rain. And this rain's a little unusual because we are a little early in the season. This is tropical storm weather. This was a tropical depression. Maybe it made it to a tropical storm, I'm not sure. Came up from Panama, South America, where they normally grow. So this is the first storm of hurricane season. But so this is not a hurricane, this is just a little rainstorm. But it was a tropical depression, so it got a name. It's named Alvin, and it's the first storm of the season, and it's very early. It is not even June yet. We are still in May. So normally you don't start getting hurricanes until July. And really here in Baja, we don't get hurricanes until normally more like August. August, September is a big, like the heart of hurricane season here. So maybe this is a sign we're going to get some storms and get a good amount of rain this summer, which would be really cool. I'd love to see the whole desert here in back of me just explode and turn greener and be covered with flowers, because when it rains, even this much rain will probably be enough to bring up a whole bunch of wildflowers, because the seeds just sit in the soil, and they can sit in the soil for years and years and years waiting for rain, and when a little bit of rain comes, they just go crazy and the desert explodes into flowering blooms. So if that happens, we'll show you it. It's going to be really cool. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and never forget to live before you die.